The help of Central New York. So guys, thank you so much for voting and showing up and doing everything you could. We really appreciate your support.
It was just easy.
What? Ronnie said it was insane. I'll translate for the Australian in case you guys.
It's that Australian accent. Maybe she.
Exactly.
And you guys didn't get to take a break after America's Got Talent either. You guys were busy.
Yeah. No. What had happened was in May we had booked a 5-month headlining tour on a cruise ship contract in Alaska, and then America's Got Talent happened. So we were flying between Washington, Alaska, New York City, Las Vegas. We would literally do our show, get off the ship the next morning, and then fly to Washington from Alaska, and then Washington, take the red eye over to New York City, and then do all these episodes of America's Got Talent. So it was very, very crazy. We haven't stopped going yet. We'll be in town for this today, and then tomorrow morning we leave at 6 a.m. to go do shows in New York City. So we really won't have a chance to stop for about another week or so, and then we'll be able to relax in Central New York. Unfortunately, we really wanted to go up to the Adirondacks and see some of the foliage, but it's already over, I'm told.
So when do you sleep? We don't.
We don't sleep.
Not yet.
Not yet. We're trying now.
And yesterday morning you were telling me you guys were in Paris, France, and you won a big award, the same that David Copperfield won. That's some nice company to be in.
We did. It was really nice. It's a French variety show that's called the Manjactor, and it's in Paris, France. And winners have been David Copperfield, Hans Clark, a couple of big Vegas names, Lance Burton, and they saw us on America's Got Talent and flew us out 2 weeks later. And we went to Paris for 4 days, and we ended up winning the competition, and we won the Gold Mandrake. So it was really exciting.
Oh, that was close for that, right here. So you've got a strange accent. Where are you from?
I'm from Melbourne, Australia, all the way on the other side of the world. It takes about 32 hours for me to get to Utica, New York.
Yeah, I timed it once. From the time we left our apartment in Utica, I turned the clock on the iPhone on. And so you go so see if you can stay with this, because I can't even fathom it, and we've done it 5 times now. You go from Utica to Syracuse, so that's what, a 45-minute drive. And then Syracuse Airport, they usually fly you to JFK. And then JFK to LAX in LA. And then LAX to Melbourne, and that's like 16-hour flight just on its own. So by the time we landed in Melbourne and got our luggage, I stopped the clock and it was like 32 hours and 40 minutes or something like that.
But isn't there a time difference too? So yeah, you're kind of confused and backwards?
It's really strange because it takes about 32 hours to get there. But when you leave JFK, if you fly out at 10 a.m. at JFK, you'll arrive at 10 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia on the exact same day.
How does that work?
No, it's backwards. So you lose a day going over. When you go,
If you fly from Melbourne, it's the same.
When you fly from Melbourne back to New York, you live the same day twice, which is very interesting. So we try to do that on Christmas.
Hey, that's a good idea. And you know what? Then you can sleep.
Then we can sleep, yeah.
So how does a guy from Utica, New York meet someone from Australia?
Well, that's interesting. When I graduated high school from Proctor, I was looking for a summer job, and I said, yeah, Proctor High School, yeah.
There must be some alums in the house.
Yeah. I was looking for a summer job, and I went on a magic site, and there was a posting for a magician needed for a summer camp in downstate New York. It's a little city called Hancock, New York. I don't know if anyone knows where it is, but if you take Route 12 south, straight it takes you right to like New Berlin, and you keep going. It's like 2 hours south here. You end up in Hancock, New York. And there's this performing arts camp, and who would know it? It's out in the middle of the woods. It's a world-class performing arts camp. They send all kinds of students there from all over the world, and most of these students end up going on to be in movies and TV shows, and they star on Broadway. So anyway, I was hired to be a magic teacher there. And there's also a circus department at the place. It's the world's largest youth circus. And
I was an aerial artist in the circus, actually. When I finished high school, I was 17 years old, and I literally ran away, and I joined the circus in America.
People really do that.
I did that.
I knew.
And I was an aerial artist, so I would spend about 6 hours a day flying on 2 trapeze rigs, and then the rest of my time I would do aerial work, so the hoop that hangs from the ceiling, the big clock, path that stretches that they climb up on Cirque du Soleil. I performed and taught all of those apparatuses, and one day Leon had to put on an impromptu magic show, and he came down to the circus department where all the girls are flexible and small, and literally walked into the circus and yelled out, "I need a girl."
Yeah, put a picture up on our Facebook chat wall.
The circus department was outside, and it was the middle of the New York City summer, and it was hot, 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 and the magic department had air conditioning, and so I put my hand up first, and that's how we met.
And the rest, they say, is history, right?
Are you guys understanding here? Yeah, okay, good. Just making sure. I see a lot of blank stares. Yeah, I think it had nothing to do with me. It was just that the circus was outside and Magic Theater was air conditioned, so I think she just wanted to get out and get some air conditioning. It's a smart girl, right? Very smart.
So, when did you start? I mean, you started at a young age doing magic because of your mother, because you got trouble.
I was in our house in West Utica, and I had done something wrong. My mom can't remember what it is. It'd be great to know what I was in trouble for. But I was grounded by my mother. I was 12 years old. I was bored out of my mind, so I was playing with my fire trucks, and under my bed found one of my magic books that an aunt or someone had given me as a gift, and just started reading it. And I learned my first trick, and I left my room, which is a no-no when you're grounded, kids. And I went over to my mom and I said, "Hey mom, I just want to show you this trick." She said, "Well, you're grounded, you can't be out of your room." I said, "Just let me show you." And I showed her the trick, and it worked because this look came over her face, and she's trying to figure it out, and she was so focused on that I ran outside and played with my friends. So I know it worked.
Aha, so you're magic all the way around then.
And that was when I was 12, and then another cool thing is, if any of you know where Ed Hinkle baseball field is in South Utica there, a year later, I was 13 now, playing baseball, and this big storm came in. And as the storm was moving in, the umpire told us to go to the dugout, and as we were going to the dugout, a lightning bolt came down and actually physically struck me and a couple other teammates that were standing in the same area. And that is why my hair stands up like that.
So that's why you've got a little bit of magic in you, is that
No, that's
right?
not why my hair stands, but it is true. And people, like to joke and go, "Oh, that's where the magic comes from," but it has nothing to do with that. I can tell you one thing for sure, is that it hurt like heck. And two, we were very, very lucky because it could have been a lot worse than it was. But that's an experience.
Where does the magic come from? Where do you get the ideas?
I think where we get the ideas from, we're really influenced by popular culture, so things that are happening around us, and we're also really influenced by the great magicians that have sadly passed on, like Harry Houdini, Robert Houdin, do you name some other names?
Yeah, that's a lot of people. Harry Blackstone Sr. What we especially did for America's Got Talent is we have these old magic books. So when it came time, let's get real. So here's the problem. Here's the problem with America's Got Talent. You get the call to audition. How we did it was producers called us and said, "We'd like you to audition for America's Got Talent. Can you come to an open audition?" And we said no, because we were too busy actually working and doing magic for a living. So I said, "We'll do a video submission of what we would propose to do if we were going to do this." So they said, "Okay." So we sent in the video, and then when they saw the video, they said, "All right, great, we'll book you. You come to New York City, you'll be in front of judges." It was the, I think, Manhattan Center in New York City. So it's like a 2,000-seat theater. And the problem is, that first audition, that was what we considered one of our best routines in our arsenal. So we made Romy appear in the glass box, and then we have this metal contraption where she chains me up to it, and we switch places, and then we end up with the card that Nick Cannon had picked revealed on Romy's body. So that's pretty darn good. I mean, so now you got to try and top that. Thank you. I think the one person in class. Thank you.
One person liked it.
It was pretty darn good, wasn't it?
That's the